Thank you for joining us. And for everybody now, as people walk in or pop in, I guess it's more like popcorn. Why don't you put in the box on the left, just right in the box, how was your weekend? Let us know on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 to 5. 1 is terrible and 5 is great. And then, because we're going to continue our efforts at connecting you guys, which is the whole point of the Covey, Marissa is going to put a link to a spreadsheet into the chat box. And if you want to connect with other people or let them connect with you, just put your email in there and also your LinkedIn so people can understand who you are. And you can, even put a little note on why you're here if you want, or what kind of friends or business connections you want to make. And we figured this is our biggest crowd every Monday. So I can't believe it's August. That's the only thing I'll say. I just can't even believe it's August. I'm completely shocked. I keep thinking, it just doesn't make any sense, especially since we can't travel. That's the hard part. And I've got, I don't know about you, but I'm spending all this time on Instagram looking at travel porn now. Just pictures of beautiful blue water. I'm clicking on everything and it's just, oh my God. I said to Jeff the other day, I was like, okay, where are we going? Rome or Paris when they let us back in, So, okay, so let's see, 5, 5, 5, okay, these are good. Bridget, 0, okay, Bridge. Clarissa, 5s, 5s, 4s, 3s, 4s, 6, okay, wow. Jean, what went on in your weekend? That's awesome. Great. Okay, a few 3s, a few 4s, and let's see. Oh, good. There's a positive morning contact sheet. I encourage you guys, if you want to get to know each other, that's a good place to share. A lot of you would like to know who you are and kind of what your background is and why you're here. So that's also what you can put in there. Maybe Marissa can add a column of notes. You can add any kind of note you want. Okay, cool. All right, so I'm going to turn it over. We've got still, I'm sure some people coming in, though it's August, so maybe generally in August things get a little quieter. So hang around to the end, and we've got 5 special travel packs from Codex Beauty, which is one of our sponsors. And they make beautiful, all natural products. Even the packaging is sustainable. And they're all made with science in mind, and they're just beautiful products. They're just products you'll love, you'll depend on, and you'll use on a regular basis. And I love the sustainability aspect of them. And Barb Palbis is the CEO. We've done a great interview with her, which Marissa will put a link in the chat box there, and a podcast. And a CNC as well. And we have a CNC with her, the woman who does their formulation for, it's called BIA, B-I-A, in Ireland. It all comes out of Ireland because that is the most sustainable place. And she's going to talk to us about DIY beauty. And she has all these recipes for us, which is really fun, out of your garden, or if some of us can't garden at that point, that'll be in September. They'll come out of your refrigerator. Anyway, so I'm going to turn this over to Dana and Wendy, and I will see you guys at the end when we give away our fabulous Codex Beauty travel packs. Travel packs. Travel.
We are being optimistic.
Optimism. You can certainly use them without travel, but we know travel is coming back at some point. So there you go. Take it away, girls.
Good morning, everyone. We're so happy to have you back with us here on Positive Mornings, and we want to welcome all of the new people. Welcome. Last time we were talking about kindness and emotional contagion, and I gave you all a little bit of a challenge. We were talking about not just paying it forward, but paying it backward, reaching out to someone who, with their kindness, really touched your life on a given day, or that made a bigger impact, kind of reaching back out to them and letting them know. And I challenged you that at the beginning of today's call, I'd be asking for your stories. So the big question, did anybody pay it backward and would like to share their story with us? Put me in the chat. Don't be shy. So while you're getting up your nerve, or maybe nobody did the homework, I'll share a story that happened to me actually recently. In the work that I do as a coach, I get lots of little texts and notes regularly that, oh, that was really helpful, or, oh, I used this thing and it made such a big difference in my life. And it's lovely to get those little notes. A couple of years ago, I got a call out of the blue from somebody who, I don't know how, she Googled me or whatever and said, I need a coach. And she wasn't my usual target market. Generally, I work with people who are like the folks in this group. You're seekers. You've done this kind of work, introspective. This woman had not ever even thought that kind of thing. Really never, I think, had an introspective thought before she decided she needed a coach in her life, and she couldn't afford me. But she was so earnest. And so I said, what can you afford? And okay, once a month, we'll have this little conversation. And we did 3 times. We had these little coaching sessions. And then I got an email from her that she couldn't do it anymore. And that was a couple years ago. And a few weeks ago, I got a phone call. And she said, hey, do you remember me? I said, of course I remember you. How are you? And she went on to tell me how her entire life had changed, and that she had done all of the things that we talked about in this coaching session. And she just wanted me to know. By the time I got off the phone, I was crying, and I was late for a meeting with Dana, and I got on the call with Dana, and I told Dana the story, and Dana started crying. And so that one little, she didn't have to do that. That one tiny phone call, like I get goosebumps thinking about it just now, changed my day. And I tap into that moment on days when I'm exhausted, and it even lifted Dana's spirits. Oh my God, the work that we do is important. It's really that little moment of paying it backward made such a tremendous impact. So I don't see any me's in the chat. Oh, Lesley, do you have one?
Well, yes, I'll tell you. I mean, I get a lot of those. The reason why I do what I do is because you guys, some of you who are on the call, have sent me beautiful notes like that. Just a little connection I've made for you that have gone way off the rails in another way than you've had them on your podcast, all kinds of and I'm like, whoa, who knew? Who could have guessed that? But that is why I do what I do. And that's one of the wonderful things about having been an editor-in-chief of magazines, is that you would do small things like that, and it would come back. I will tell you, people come back and talk about something I can't even remember I wrote or did or said that really made a big difference in their lives. That was one of the beautiful things about being an editor-in-chief. But taking your challenge up, my best friend from 6th grade moved down to New Orleans as well, and I knew she was here. We really had not been friends in our 20s. And after we'd lost touch, I went away to boarding school, and she stayed where we were. But another friend had kept us in touch, a really good person who keeps people in touch and is always inviting them. And then when I moved back to New York, she kept us, we saw each other, I think, once or twice. And then I found out she was moving down here because she went to Tulane, and so did her husband. And she's a social worker. And so we met for lunch the other day, and we talked on the phone a couple of times. But taking your challenge, and I'd mentioned this to her before, but I'd never seen her in person when I did. And I said to her, I just want to let you know that, when I was in 6th and 7th grade, I was your first social work client. And it was a shit show at home. I had a divorced mother who was just a disaster, couldn't take care of herself. And she said, I know when you told me that the first time, it made me cry my eyes out. I had no idea. So, you know, I took the challenge, and it was good to see her face. And, you know, I don't know if we're going to be tight friends now or not, but she made a big difference in my life at that point. So,
Yeah. So
Beautiful.
we'll pass the challenge on, keep it going, pay it backward.
I love the fact that we have these good students that are putting in the chat. Oh no, I forgot. I'll do it next time. you can tell those of us that are kind of students of life, right?
these are all good students. Remember, every CoveyClub person shows
Every
up
person
with
is.
A plus.
No, I just love the comments. I'm just commenting.
Yeah.
So today our topic is going to kind of roll this emotional contagion kindness thing forward. And we're going to talk about not just gratitude. I know we've tapped into that before. We're going to talk about the impact of gratitude today. And I'm going to hand it over to Dana.
All right. Welcome, everybody. So great, as always, to see all of you. I'm grateful for that. So we're going to talk about gratitude. And what I want to ask you first, or tap into first, is the question that Lesley asked you. How was your weekend? And the reason why I want to tap into that is the kind of day or the kind of weekend or the kind of morning that you have is mostly based on what you chose to focus on, right? The kind of day, the kind of weekend you had is based on what you chose to focus on. And gratitude really is a choice. It's a choice to focus on the positive, the choice to focus on what is going well. And I think, again, you know, this is a theme that we kind of repeat during our time together in Positive Mornings about the importance of choice and the importance of being intentional. But at any moment, we have the ability to choose to focus on what is going well, despite the crap that's going on around us, right? So gratitude was a conversation, of course, that we talked a lot about in positive psychology training. And Tal Ben-Shahar was my teacher. He taught at Harvard. He was amazing. And he had a phrase that I loved. He said, appreciation, when you appreciate the good appreciates. So if you think about something that appreciates in value, like you have money in the stock market in theory and it appreciates in value, the same thing goes with gratitude. When you appreciate something or someone, that appreciates in value. And of course, when you don't appreciate something, it depreciates. And that's where we start taking things and people for granted. So just a little story, and this is something I was reflecting on just recently, because my oldest son, Zach, I haven't seen him since February. He's currently training in the National Guard to be a medic. So he's in San Antonio, the hotspot at the moment. But I was reflecting on this because when he was a teenager in high school, I remember so many days where I would drive into the driveway and I would be getting out of the car, and you're kind of in that mode where you're transitioning, right, from work, and you're kind of getting back into the, you know, household mode. And he would come barreling out the front door and greet me at the car in the driveway and give me a huge hug. And at the time, I remember appreciating it so much. I'm like, oh my God, how cool is this that my 16-year-old or 17-year-old or 18-year-old at the time is running out the door to give me a hug. Like, it was the most beautiful thing. And it stopped me in my tracks every time he did it. It didn't matter what the day was. It just stopped me in my tracks, and I completely embraced it. And what I love is I made myself stop and be 100% present with that moment. And what's beautiful is when you're present with a moment that's beautiful, not only do you appreciate it more at that moment, now I get to relive it, right, as I'm telling you about it. Like, it just brings me such joy to think about those days. So gratitude is so very important, not only for our well-being, but as we're going to talk about, it's so important for the relationships that we have in our life. Robert Emmons is a researcher that does a lot of research on gratitude. And I'll spare you the details of the studies, but what he has found is that when people have a regular gratitude practice, when they are very intentional every day about focusing on what they're grateful for, it elevates their happiness by approximately 25%. Because when you focus on gratitude, you're shifting, right? You're shifting to focus on the positive. You're making that intentional choice. He also has shown that by focusing on gratitude, you decrease your stress and you decrease your anxiety. So I think, especially given what we're all collectively dealing with right now, that's such important information to have. Also, gratitude overall increases your happiness and well-being and your connection with others. When we express gratitude to somebody else, we are putting the most beautiful investment in that relationship by expressing something to somebody else. And so those of you that want to take up the challenge, please do. It's beautiful because you're experiencing gratitude, but when you pay it backward to somebody else, you are investing so beautifully in that relationship. You are connecting with that person on a level that will truly touch their heart. Also, in general, it builds trust when you express gratitude. It deepens the connection that you have with somebody, and it increases the meaning or the value that you feel that you have with this person. So what they found in research as well is they found that when you express gratitude at work, for example, it also elevates not only the relationship, but the engagement that somebody has at work. We've all had those times when we feel completely devalued for the work that we do, and those times when we feel completely appreciated. So the research and the importance of gratitude is not only in our personal life, but also in the work that we do. So this will be kind of a segue to the conversation that we're going to have, and Wendy will split us into groups and let you know how we're going to do this today, this conversation.
Okay, so we're going to do small groups this time, Marissa, 2 to 3 people, because we want you to each have the opportunity to tell your story about when you felt appreciated in life, sometimes that you really felt appreciated, and times when you didn't. And in sharing that with one another, we're then going to come back into the group and talk about the impact in your personal or professional life from those different sorts of experiences, when you felt really appreciated and when you didn't. We're going to give you 15 minutes. So you'll each have a good 5 minutes to tell your story, and we'll put you in groups of 3. How's that, Marissa? Or I think it does 2 to 3. Is that possible?
Yeah, we can do 2 to 3 or 3 to 4.
Okay. Yeah, so we have 15 minutes for this conversation because we want you each to be able to tell a story, tell your story to one another. And so 2 to 3, I think, is probably good.
One thing too, I'd love for you to reflect on when you're telling your story is, again, the 2 stories. One is when you did not feel appreciated, and one is when you did. But also reflect on how that impacted you, not only how you felt, but how you decided to consistently show up in light of feeling appreciated or depreciated. How did that shift how you showed up and the kind of work that you did moving forward as well? All right, so I guess we're ready to pop
Have
into
fun in your groups.
We're seeing that everybody's coming back to the room. Welcome back. We'd love for you to just kind of any reflections that you have on the conversation to put it into the chat. And if you have a story that you'd like to share about a time when you felt appreciated and that difference that it made for you, we'd love to hear a few of your voices in the room. So as always, put me in the chat if you'd like to share.
Andrea, you're right in.
While people are putting something in the chat about handwritten notes, I worked at a very large and globally recognized beauty company, and the owner and chairman would always send a thank you handwritten note on a blue note. And if you got a blue note from this person, it would be like, oh my God, this is like coming down from the top, really. And what it made me, and I still to this day, I do write handwritten notes because I'm so grateful for the feeling that I felt when he wrote that for me, that I'm like, you know what, in this day and age where it's all digital, you need to take a pause and say thank you and write a note.
So beautiful, Marjorie. Thank you for sharing. It's interesting. I have 3 teenage boys, and since they were little, I have made them for their birthdays write thank you notes. And every year they complain because they just want to send out that like one email to everybody or text everybody. I'm like, no, you are going to write a handwritten thank you notes for all birthdays and all Christmases. They've learned to do that. I hope it's something they'll take with them, because I think in this generation in particular, I think that's getting lost.
I will tell you that Lake's boyfriend, I had to tell him to stop writing thank you notes when he would come stay with us. I was like, you are so well brought up. I can't even believe it. I was like, okay, you don't have to anymore. But very well, and it blows you away if they are guys, especially.
Yep.
Okay, so we have three me's. We have Andrea, and then Sigrid, and then Christine. Andrea.
All right, sorry. I shared this with my group, but I put a 5+ for the weekend because it was just remarkable. So my husband and I celebrated our 40th anniversary yesterday. And we had big plans. Our kids were coming in from Israel. I mean, not for that, but for the month of August. And we were going to see our kids from Denver, the whole thing. And it was just, obviously, all went away. So I had no idea what to expect, but on Saturday we were surprised with this magnificent new Weber grill in our backyard that all our immediate friends and family chipped in for and just arrived, and was amazing.
Awesome.
And then yesterday we scheduled our mostly daily family Zoom call, and I had a feeling there might be something else going on, but I thought it was going to be like this, like 20 of our friends in boxes, and it was going to be anyway, they put together a video of people, like, I don't know where they found them, my bridesmaids, like everybody did different things, which was amazing. But the greatest part was, and if anyone wants to see, I'll share it with you, is my daughter printed out full-size face pictures of myself and my husband and put strings around it, and my almost 6-year-old grandson and my 4-year-old granddaughter wore them, and they played Andrea and Bruce. And they did these videos, like they're sitting on the couch. Well, what do you want to do today? I'm going golfing. What do you want to do? And then Allie would walk in and go, Mom and Dad, you're at the house. You're surprising us. It was just, so it went from a day that we thought would be just like, to like incredible. So.
Oh, that's lovely.
So wonderful.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
It was fun.
Thank you. Sigrid, what do you have for us?
Hi.
There she is.
I'm going to share something that I didn't share when we were in our breakout room, because it came to me towards the end. We all were focused on our careers and what happened, times when we were unappreciated and appreciated. But this is more personal. I just turned 67 a couple of weeks ago, July 10th, maybe it's more than a couple of weeks. And we had a Zoom call just like this. My daughter arranged it, and it was family, friends. And because I live in Florida now, and I used to be in New York and Massachusetts, it was really nice because I never would have had all those people together in one place, but they were all together on Zoom. And my son lives in South Carolina, and he just bought a house. He lives there with his girlfriend, and he has a great job, and he's doing really well. And he's very introverted. So I didn't expect him to really say much. We went around, the circle, and everybody wished me a happy birthday and shared in memory or whatever. And he, who nearly drove me mad growing up. I mean, he was always in trouble, always, anytime I'd ask him a question, there'd be maybe a grunt or a one-word answer, that kind of teenager. And I had a lot of difficulty with him, but I stuck with him. I mean, there were times when I wanted to give up, but I stuck with him. And so really, without any prompting, when it came his turn, with all my loved friends and family right there, he said, I don't know what I would have done without my mom, without your support. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for me my whole life. And everybody said, Eric, we're so proud of you. You're doing great. He was like, no, you don't understand. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my mom. And to have him say that to me is one thing, but in front of God and everyone, I really did feel so appreciated, and it was worth it after all those years. So I just wanted to share that.
And we're all cheered up. Thank you for sharing it. Yeah, this is the emotional contagion that we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. It makes such a difference. And Christine also wants to share.
Good morning. First, I want to say our breakout session was awesome. I was in with Karen Harrow and Kate Brogan, and they're great. I wanted to share, my mom taught me the importance of a thank you note from a very young age, and I'm still that way. Might be that Catholic schoolgirl thing again, but I've always been that way. When I was a magazine editor, I actually assigned a story called The Lost Art of the Thank You Note. And that was, oh gosh, years ago. So you can imagine if we wrote it back then, you know, today you really don't see that anymore. But I really wanted to share a book, and I might have put it in the chat last week. Nancy Davis Coe, Kho, The Thank You Project. She was having a milestone birthday one year, and she decided, I think she was 50, and she decided to write 50 letters to 50 people and or places and things, which sounds strange, but maybe you have like a childhood hometown or something, and you would write to that place and what it means to you. So she wrote all the letters. She kept a copy for herself. I think she actually typed them, but she signed them. I don't think she hand wrote all 50, but she got in touch with me. She'd like to be on my podcast. But anyway, she wrote all 50 letters. She kept them in a binder for herself, as well as sending them out to all of those people. But she also wrote to people that maybe she'd never meet, like a celebrity who had an impact on her and things like that. And I just wanted to share it because it's a fascinating book. It's fun. It's a quick, easy read. And I just think it's something that everybody might be interested in. So that's it.
Beautiful.
That's my share.
What a
for
great
today.
idea.
That in, Christine, because I didn't catch the name.
It's called The Thank You Project, and it's Nancy Davis Coe, Kho, the author. It's a beautiful book too. Like if you wanted to give it as a gift, it's a beautiful cover. I should have snagged it and showed it to you, but I'm outside and it's upstairs.
Beautiful.
But makes a very nice gift, I think.
What a cool thing to do in moments when, especially when you're feeling overwhelmed, when you're feeling underappreciated, when you're feeling low energy, to write a letter, you know, to write, if we did it one a week, if we did one a month,
Right.
what a cool collection. I love that idea.
Yeah, she did one a day, I think, which is, I mean, you go girl, but you know, I think as long as you do it, I don't think it matters how you do it, you know?
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Christine. That's
Sure.
really cool. Beth.
Hi, ladies. So I think I'm going to share a little something that I didn't share in my group also, although I had a great group conversation with Andrea and Mal. So yesterday marked the 10-year anniversary of my husband's death. And so many people are so wonderful, you know, and I appreciate all of them, from the smallest little gesture to the biggest. And not just yesterday, but, you know, for the last 10 years, it's been tough. So my son, who recently broke up with his girlfriend after a long time and works out of the area, you know, he made the effort to come and spend the weekend with me here. And you know what? We just had the best time. It was the first time, and since my husband died, it was the first time that I'm not with my daughter. So that was hard, but she was with her, you know, our family in New Jersey, and my son was with me, and we hadn't been together on this anniversary date in a long time because, you know, he's been working, and I think it was when he was in college is when we would spend this anniversary date all together, the three of us. So now he's 27 and, you know, all grown up and living his own life, but he came alone, and we had just the most incredible weekend. And we went and walked on the beach yesterday morning and talked and laughed and had fun. And what could have been a really sad day for me was a really happy day, you know. And even though it's hard for him to talk about his dad, and, you know, we don't really do that a lot, I cried, you know, away from him because I don't really want to upset him too much. But, you know, I really appreciated, that's why, you know, even Sigrid's share about her son, you know, sometimes it comes from left field, you know, you don't expect certain things from certain people, but when it's a surprise and it's at a time when that's such a special time that, you know, I just really appreciate my children and all the wonderful people in my world, even people who I don't know that well or personally, who just, you know, reach out, all of you people, you know, and all the things that we share. You just really learn to appreciate every little thing.
Thank you for sharing, Beth. So our tool for you this week is one that many of you may already do. keeping a gratitude journal. I'd like you to think about it as a way of not just keeping this kind of emotion going in your life, but keeping it as a way to fuel that emotional contagion. So when we're grateful for others, like I'm having a hard time collecting my thoughts right now because your stories have moved me to tears, each one of them. And that's something that I'm grateful for. Dana and I are so grateful for each of you showing up here and sharing so deeply and raising the level of gratitude and love and joy and belonging and community.
Yeah.
And so if each of us can do that on our own regularly, and it's not difficult to do, 3 things that you're grateful for each day. You don't have to write a big paragraph. You could just write the word if you want. And here's the thing to make it stick, to make it really make an impact and a difference for you. After you write it down, take a moment, just a moment, to let that thing wash over you. Okay, it doesn't matter if it's as huge of a thing as Sigrid shared, like that moment when a beloved child says, "Oh, Mom, thank you for what you did for me." Could be that enormous, or it could be as small as, "Phew, I'm really glad I had hot coffee this morning." You know, all that matters is that it's 100% true for you. You don't have to push it into something bigger than it is. Whatever feels 100% true for you, the sun is shining through my skylight, whatever feels true for you that day, 3 things, and take a moment to let it wash over you. Experience it with your senses by remembering what it looked like or what it felt like or what it sounded like. Or for the coffee, what it tasted or smelled like. In that way, you're embedding the experience. And remember, we said when we talked about negativity bias that your brains are Teflon for the good stuff and Velcro for the bad stuff. This is a way of tricking your brain into Velcroing the good stuff by allowing yourself that sensory experience. So 3 things, simple things that you're grateful for each day. It's easiest if you anchor it so that you do it at the same time each day so that you don't forget. The whole activity will take you a matter of moments and will really change your emotional energy, both inside and what you're putting out into the world around you.
I'd love to add a little something to that, Wendy, just for 1 second too, is if you desire to take it another step as well, is to think about each one of these things you're grateful for. What did you do that allowed for that? Because with the exception of it's a beautiful day outside, you had something to do with every single one of those things that went well in your life. Those beautiful stories we heard this morning, there's years of things that you did that led to that moment, right? And so it's part of taking ownership too for what you're doing in your life that's going really well. So what I'm grateful for and what did I do that allowed for this?
Beautiful. So let's have a little meditation. As you're getting comfortable, finding a space for your body to settle into. You don't have to strike any particular pose, just allow yourself to be comfortable. Start to bring your attention to your breath, very simply. And feel the emotion and the energy of the people around you. Bring to your mind's eye, just in this group, in this moment, the way that you made one another feel today. The faces in the boxes, we're not in person together, but we see one another light up. We see one another smile. We can feel one another's energy. Tap into that as you're bringing your attention to your breath. And for today, Notice the steadiness of your breathing. Bring it in through your nose and out through your mouth. Each inhale a little deeper until it's filling your belly. Other thoughts may distract you. Just watch that breath fill your belly on the inhale and watch it go out into the space around you as you exhale, releasing everything that feels like strain or struggle or worry. With each exhale, feel a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more connected to your peers here with you in this moment. And now bring to your mind's eye one of those moments that you are truly grateful for. Allow yourself to re-experience the moment. Let all of your senses tap into it. See it and feel it. Hear it. And now create a statement in your mind that says, I'm proud of myself for, and attach it to this moment of gratitude. What about you allowed that to happen? Even if it's the sun on your face, you had to step outside or to the window and look up in order to feel it. Let the feeling of pride wash over you. And as you do, bring your attention back to your breath. And on the count of 5, you can open your eyes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lesley, we're close on time today.
Yeah, that's okay. So everybody, let's do quickly our giveaway. I want to show you this fabulous product here. I'm gonna screen share. This is the little travel kit from Codex.
It's 9 o'clock.
And it has all these little great things in it. As you can see, the exfoliant, with the eye cream, it's all fantastic stuff. You're gonna love it. So I'm going to stop sharing, and Marissa's going to go ahead and put our, we're going to spread the joy. Here you go. Okay, 5 of these. Christine, awesome. Okay.
Yay!
Great. You'll really enjoy this stuff. And I'd love to hear back what you think.
Yay!
Cool. Awesome. Okay, 3 more. It's fun. It's fun to win. Susan.
Gratitude,
Cool.
gratitude.
Awesome.
Rosemary.
Rosemary, cool. Okie doke. This is the most fun part, I think. Even though gratitude's great, it's really great to win.
We're grateful for the winning.
Right, Karen. Okay.
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you.
Well, congratulations to our winners, and they will. You will have that little package sent to you, and I'd love to hear what you think. It's just great products. I just so you know, I chased them down because I thought it was such wonderful stuff. And then we don't have anything coming. We're taking a break in August.
In 2 miles, exit 30.
Somebody's going there. we're not going to be doing things except the positive mornings in August. We're going to take a little break. And and then the last 2 weeks of August, guys, we're going to take a total break. So you won't see any of us until September again. But up until then, you can sign up for September webinars, which are already happening. And we are focusing on work to start with, how to create a 5-star resume and make yourself shine. And that's with Linda Spiegel, who's a job search coach and a resume writer. And you can ask all questions about what the heck a resume is today. Middle Essence, a new way to look at the most exciting part of life. And this is with Barbara Waxman, who actually created that title and is a book author and created that stage of life.
By the way, I heard her speak and she's amazing. She's so inspiring. So you'll definitely enjoy it. Yeah.
Post-pandemic, the kids are not okay, what you need to know and watch for with your children and your own mental health. And that's going to be with Paula Prentice, and she's a licensed social worker and wellness coach. So there's a lot more coming. Keep watching the site, and also make sure you're signed up for Letter from Lesley, and then you will have all that there. So thank you all. I want to get you out the door on time, and have a wonderful week. We're grateful that you're here. We're grateful that you're part of our group, and we're grateful that you share like you do. So thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, all.
We'll see you next week.